And we're
live.
I'll scoot over a little bit so you're in that camera angle there.
Okay.
Nice.
Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
So, Diego, Fabio, finally, podcast. Finally got you over here. We've been talking about it for weeks.
Forever.
For weeks now. Episode 7, 8, something like that now?
Yeah, one of the episodes.
One of those in the future at some point. But this is our third guest podcast. Second, we're just chatting about just about anything, because the first, as you'll be seeing tonight, which is actually 2 weeks away from today, because what we do is we get all of our content done.
We have like a back catalog of
we just have like a vault.
So this one will come out like 2-3 weeks from now.
Okay.
So you'll just have to wait in anticipation to see if you guys said anything stupid.
Until we get until we get like a crew that can like help us edit and this and that. So
how long does it take you guys to like edit?
Cody edits everything. I just come here and talk for
'Cause I feel
30
like
minutes.
people don't really. Most people don't understand the like hard work that goes behind it, I feel like.
Yeah, so it depends on the video or the content. So for one like this, it's actually relatively easier because...
Well, this one might be hard since we're trying out 2 different angles.
Yeah, I'm going to have to... Since we have 2 different angles, 2 different cameras, this is going to be difficult only because I use most of my stuff on my computer here. Mm-hmm. Now, whereas the YouTube videos I can edit on my phone, but now... That's all because that computer's too old to run any of the big softwares, so I can do everything on it. So hopefully in the next couple of months...
We're outdated in our technology.
Yes, but we make do with what we have. So we're still making it work. Bringing content to your YouTube channel.
But like a normal travel video.
And a normal travel video, if I can allot my time to sit down and do it, like in college, like let's say the Canada ones, they were 12 minutes long. We did that 6 episode series. First 4 were like 12 minutes, last 2 were 9. I would say the average time it took me to edit, well, what I'll do is organize the footage.
Okay.
Which takes a while because we
had 5 cameras too, because our buddy had a Canon camcorder. We had 3 GoPros, and then someone else also recorded off their phone. Usually, sometimes, because some of the iPhones, they get 1080, 4K now, whatever. So, I had to organize it by then, and then as I would go, just like start pulling from each one and saw, all right, this is, this could be used as B-roll while the music's playing. This could, be perfect audio, like introduction to the video, and so on and so forth. So I actually got really, really good at that, to where I would literally put folder on the desktop, and then pull from, all, and then it's all organized by chronological order. So all I had to do is just start throwing it into place and splicing it.
So you definitely gotten better at it, where you're just like,
yes. Now, currently with this situation, it's not bad.
Luckily, our trips to Europe only has 1 camera, pretty much.
Yeah,
more or less. 2 cameras, yours and mine, but
yeah, that's just about it. And
we also got a lot less footage when we were in Europe.
Yeah,
we kind of forgot.
kind of forgot. There's just 2 of us. Like in Canada, there was 5 of us, so 5 cameras. See, in Europe, was us 2. We're just trying to enjoy it, That's
what I was gonna say. I feel like low key. I think that kind of is almost like a guide for how good a time like you're having.
Yeah, it is. Like,
because you forget, you're just kind of in the moment.
I mean, the Scotland video is coming out a week from, or a few days from now, and I think that part of our trip was probably the least videoed part of the whole trip, but it's also the part of the trip that me and him enjoyed the most.
Yes, because we were constantly interacting with other people, or exploring this castle, or hiking at Arthur's Seat, the crag, whatever, below Arthur's Seat, stuff like that. We didn't want to stop and get the freaking camera out and record every other 5 minutes. I mean, we got plenty of our pictures and video, and this for ourselves rather than the YouTube. Like,
with that being said, a lot of our stuff that we do, we don't really nothing that we do is planned or anything. Right. So it's not like we'll stop what we're doing and go, hey, let's go back and redo this. Like, we catch it in the moment.
I think that's even better, because I feel like if you did it the other way, it'll be disturbing.
It really does disturb it. Yeah, so
it's more authentic too.
I think we have footage of us doing our hike, and it's literally just I'll be behind Cody, oh, that looks really cool. I'll get out my phone real quick and I'll just record as we're walking, or if I have a really funny idea, I'll be like, hey Cody, record this real quick, and then I'll do it, and it's this is the first time he's seeing it too, so it's not like I'm repeating anything.
Okay.
Or
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a process. And it'll be a lot easier when I can set up a table like this and just go to work. But
But it's definitely worth it because, like you said, like it would kind of detract from being there.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it because, like, when we came back from our trip to Europe, I went back and watched some of our trip video from Banff because Cody wanted to know how we were going to do the intro for Europe. And I went back and I haven't watched our videos in like a year or two. So I was like, I'm just going to go back, or however long since we've actually done it. So I went back and watched it. And like I watched one, but I caught myself just watching all of them. So it's just like, it takes you back. And like the 5 minutes you might take away from that moment is worth the years of being able to go back and rewatch that moment and stuff.
I hadn't thought about that. That's pretty dope.
And it doesn't really detract from the moment that you're there because of how we do it.
Right.
But it's definitely, like, if anything that it does detract from, it's definitely worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
and like the little jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, like, with our YouTube, like, you see who was I talking to the other day? I think it was just some random guy at work, and he was like, what really ticked him off is it's like clickbait videos. And it says, I'm trying to think of a good example, but I know him, he's like a big like national park guy. Okay. So he loves going to national parks, but he likes watching other people's reviews. Well, sometimes it'll be like a 10-minute review of like this vlogger that went to Grand Canyon, and let's say it says Grand Canyon South Rim was amazing in all caps, or Grand Canyon South Rim sunset in all caps. Well, you could have a 15-minute video and the last 30 seconds is just the sunset. It's clickbait in a way, you know? And a lot of people hate that. We don't do that. We just literally want it to be like, what is it? European Adventure 2K19 England episode 1 or episode 1 England. You
we're
know,
in England.
We're telling it's not like, Big Ben and whatever. But I mean, yeah, we saw Big Ben.
It could be like, can't believe I dropped that off of St. Paul Cathedral rooftop.
Yeah,
like,
it's
not.
it's such like it's just like random content and footage that we was.
That would be a really clickbaity title.
Yes,
because there's like that one footage of me like throwing the phone.
Yeah, because I was like, I think the exit this way is like, no, it's actually down there, and just to be stupid, and it's funny, but if you base the whole video off by the caption like, oh, we jumped off the top of St. Paul's Cathedral or slid down or something like that, and people are like, oh, easy, like 15,000 views or something crazy, but that's where it's clickbait and it's bullcrap and really makes people mad.
We'll do those when we get more desperate.
Yeah.
We'll save that.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I think I'm that way with like cars. And if like the title is not very like descriptive of what's actually going on in the video, it's just like
yeah. So you probably get caught watching like a 30-minute review of this like such and such Mustang or whatever, and like 20 of the 30 minutes is just some guy bragging about his Mustang or his experience. You're like, dude, a couple minutes of it was enough. Can you stop?
Yeah.
And it takes away from like maybe he's fixing like something on the dash, and you can't actually enjoy it and really learn because you're too busy trying to bypass the bullcrap of him bragging about himself or the 8 Mustangs I've owned, I've never had this. Like, dude, be quiet.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, by all means, it's awesome if that's a thing, but limit it, narrow it down. So, I mean, we've learned along the way through our videos, and peer review, and simple, just self-critiquing mistakes. Oh, let's not do that next time, or let's make this shorter. Let's take
try
out some of
something
the extra
new.
bullcrap. Yeah,
We'll try something new this time. Like I don't think we've ever done, like in our England video, he does like a little sped up part when he's walking. I don't think we've ever done something like that while like with us walking.
Yeah,
like that's something brand new that we had like the idea while we were there because like we're walking downstairs. It's like, let's do this. Yeah,
just kind of like just some random stuff, but being creative for the video. We don't normally do that. We don't like doing it, but then again, we've learned so much. It's come natural. We don't have to actually stop and think, all right, this is a good shot. Now it's just we're walking. Hey, let's start filming. It's all natural and authentic because over each trip we've learned. But this trip, there's times where we just didn't film because we were caught with the moment.
Yeah, big time.
Which we'd also argue, and I definitely argue, is so be it. You're enjoying your trip. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, like you said.
But yeah, so welcome to, after that long intro, welcome to my new crib, the new studio, the new set, I guess we can call it.
Yeah, this is getting closer and closer to a final set.
Yeah, home of traveling techers.
We bought this table
today.
Really?
Yep.
Ran to Walmart this morning.
We're using a storage container for part of our set here and a refrigerator, but it'll get more professional as we go. And it's all building blocks, stepping stones, whatever you want to call it, to get to what you really want. Yeah. So it just makes it more fun.
Yeah.
It's almost like all the great inventors started in basements and garages and like a shed Shed. And they're in multi-billion-dollar corporations and buildings, and I mean, I don't want to be that big, but I mean, it's neat to show where you start from. So who knows?
Yeah, for sure.
So
it's a fun process.
Definitely.
Especially from the first episode.
Yeah.
What I heard now, this whole setup. So.
Yeah. And as we talked about, we've done a podcast in 3 or 4 places now.
Yeah.
At different locations. So it's cool to finally have a place where we've done.
This feels more like a home location.
Yeah.
We might pack up and go to my place one weekend if it makes sense. But
if there's someone we want to interview up there,
if we can get Edgar,
have a special guest, Edgar.
This
maybe a buddy of his that's we want to feature and guest on our podcast. Well, other than that, this will kind of be our home location. We really want to make it more opening and maybe home of traveling techers and CD Logic, outside on the porch, maybe a sign. It'd be kind of fun. Just make add more of a touch and be more welcoming to our friends, guests, whoever wants to be on this and that. So,
but we're not the only YouTubers here.
Good segue. Great segue into why we're here.
Oh god.
So we're here with Diego and Fabio Villa. These are the eldest and youngest of the magnificent trio that I get the chance to live with week in and week out. That bring out the best and worst of me in the gym, but never a bad way. Just fun. So, Diego, I know that's a joke, but realistically, just about your weightlifting progress, and you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
And you started lifting full-fledged, really into it.
Probably
as long as I've known
17?
you. Oh, since 17?
Maybe.
How'd you get into it? Did someone bring you into it? Someone go, hey, come with me to the gym?
He did, what was it? The program.
It's P90X.
P90X.
Oh, yeah.
And I just went one day, and it was I like that feeling. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Yeah.
A light pump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that day I did have C4, and I just felt wired and amazing. I was like, this is a good feeling.
First time you had C4?
That was the first time.
Oh, man.
But from there on, it was just a whole process.
Because I remember you talked about, as we all played soccer, you said your school specifically, was your coach was, so about weightlifting, and then yourself, you felt like maybe it might hold me back from soccer, and then you were injured.
Yeah.
How has all that been too? I know you've told me before, but
it's kind of hard to be play and weightlift because you lose flexibility. Right now, I probably can't do as much, but I think I fractured my hip. And after that's when I got more into it.
How'd you fracture your hip playing?
I have no
idea.
Soccer? Oh, yeah,
just rolled out of bed funny.
I went to the doctor for a checkup. They were like, "You fractured your hip," and I was like, "Really?" I had no idea. Same thing. I broke my ankle, but that was a stress fracture, and I was like, I didn't know that.
You got a ghost in your house, man.
Mom always told us he's such a strong boy. He gets fractured and doesn't even know about it.
Such a strong boy.
Oh man.
It was a process, I guess.
And then since I've known you, because I've been going to Gold's in Westchester.
Yeah.
Love that gym. Well, I've been going to that gym for a little over a year, just over, give or take. And I probably met you a couple months into me going in there. Maybe it was spring of this year, right?
Yeah, because I think I met you through Jordan.
Mm-hmm. And
that was a while ago.
Yeah, and we kind of saw each other here and there. We worked out a little bit together, and then I don't know, just kind of out of nowhere, just hey, let's get a lifting sometime. And then Fabio, Antonio started coming more often, and kind of introduced me to them. And then you graduated, and next thing you know, we all started just working out together. And then even DJ pops in here when he's down in Richmond from Fredericksburg. So
more and more often.
Yeah, it's yes, which is good. So that's why you can move down here one day. Moving on. Nope.
Not yet.
I promise, Bree, I'm trying. She put me up to it. So, with that being said, the growth that I have seen you, essentially, just the amount of your growth, your strength, your mindset, your knowledge on everything, from weights even to the supplements and everything, it's been pretty impressive, especially for someone your age.
I think it just takes a while. When I first started lifting, I was I just read a bunch of stuff, and then I believed it, because I don't know if I told you about the kidney infection. I would do a mass gainer every morning, and I would load it with oatmeal, egg whites. It was 100 grams in one shake. And then I didn't drink water. I didn't hydrate, and I was doing creatine. I did all this stuff. And then I had a kidney infection. So it's a lot of misinformation. So I kind of learned from that.
Right.
And over time, you kind of learn.
Where were we getting that information from?
I don't know.
The sketchy guy in the locker room.
I have no idea. Like, I feel like everyone's like, oh, the more you take, the bigger you get. It's like protein. Like, oh, take like 200, 300 grams. I'm like,
that's insane.
Yeah, I did. I did like 2 grams of protein per pound. So I got up to 220. But it was natural protein. So I actually got decently big.
This might be misinformation, but I heard, well, what I went off of was that you take the amount of protein that you want to weigh.
Okay.
So like, from high school all the way up until my junior year of college, I weighed between I couldn't break 140.
Okay.
Like 145-ish, could not get higher than that. No matter what I did, no matter how much I worked out, all that kind of stuff, impossible. And then I saw that, I was like, okay. So I'm going to go on a diet where every morning I had eggs with cheese in the morning, granola bar, protein shake, some heavy lunch, protein shake, granola bar, dinner. And that's what I would have every day, and it got up to a 160 because I wanted to weigh 160. Okay. So I would have 160 grams of protein a day.
Okay,
right.
That's interesting. I've never heard that.
And
he was pretty consistent for a couple of weeks or a month and a half or whatever it was.
I did it for 3 weeks, and sure enough, my weight went right up to 160.
Ooh. Oh, really?
Right up to 160.
Crazy.
And then once I got there, I did it for another week or 2 weeks. I think I did it for a month and a half, 2 months total. And my weight stayed at 160 once I got to that point. And then I stopped doing it because it was just a lot of eating.
Yeah.
And I've never dropped below that since then.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I mean...
Body just probably wants to remain.
It just got to that point. So, yeah. It's no matter how... when me and Cody went to Europe, we both... we would have a croissant and a coffee in the morning, and then no lunch, and then a dinner. And that's what we had for 2 weeks.
Or some days we had in between lunch and dinner, or sometimes we didn't have anything for breakfast, just a coffee and then maybe a brunch. It was weird.
We would have at least most
only two
meals a day.
Yeah.
Were they bigger meals? Because
the dinner was
kind of smaller.
The dinner was like a solid dinner.
Yeah,
but
it depended.
Crazy.
Like when we were at Sherry's in London, it was pasta or meatballs, which is delicious.
Really good.
A lot of carb-based stuff, and then when you're in Italy, the pasta and pizza and good stuff.
Yeah, but throughout that whole 2 week time of nearly eating nothing compared to how much we were walking, we were averaging 19,000 steps a day.
Got up to the most 32,000. The amount of calories burned just walking.
When we came home, Bree was like, "You guys look skinny." Our chin, our jawline was skinny, not like skinny, we were malnourished skinny, right? And I was like, yeah, now that you mentioned it, looking at the last picture we took in Rome to the first picture we took in England, you could see a difference in our facial structure.
My arms,
yeah. but the next day at the gym, I weighed myself 160. Really? Didn't drop at all,
really?
Weight wise.
Dude,
I don't know if it's, but that's what I did, and it worked really well.
That's a
but
lot.
It might be complete bro science, no real science behind that. But
I don't know. I think it was Evan Centopani from Animal. Mm-hmm. He does a 1-to-1 ratio on everything, so you kind of manipulate it after. So it's if I weigh 150, everything's gonna be 150 grams, even fat, which is a lot of fat. 150 grams.
But if you're consistent with, I guess, the type of workout that he does, and his body gets immune. Interesting.
But I like that idea.
Yeah, it's really simple too.
I think it's whatever which is, I guess, common sense in a way, but then again, maybe not. Just whatever you find works for your body, because everyone, of course, is different. You just stick with it and go, I think that's perfect for you. Yeah. That might be perfect for you. Whereas, me and Fabio over here, we can't figure out what the heck is perfect for us. So
everyone's different. It's a process, and you kind of figure it out. I kind of figure out what foods my body takes better.
And you have to experiment with different stuff.
Yeah. I could go I ate pizza yesterday, and I think I killed that, and I still look fine.
Oh, yeah.
I did casein the night before, and it just blows me up. I just start filling out.
That's the crazy thing. No, because I agree, because last night, I was busy moving things around the house and doing this and that. So I went to the gym in the evening, get a nice little leg day, went to Chick-fil-A, came back, ate it, and they have these little fat cakes, little chocolate cakes with icing. I'm like, oh crap, we eat two of those. And then I had a casein shake before I brushed my teeth and started watching movies with my siblings and stuff. And I look back, I was like, oh my gosh, there was so much. I was hungry before I went to bed. I'm like, what is going on here? The amount of calories I just ate. And I don't know, it's weird. So it's a good thing, but a bad thing, especially during this bulk season. But I don't know. I feel like on the weekend it's my cheat time, my treat myself time. But I do need to get more consistent, how you were for those 3 weeks. So I'm gonna try it for a month.
I was really consistent. It was really weird because I wasn't hungry ever. because like you put yourself on that schedule.
Yeah.
Where
it's
like
a
you
routine.
you're eating before you get hungry. So like throughout those 3-4 weeks, I was never hungry, which was the weirdest thing. And like all of it's
But
like
you didn't feel bloated or.
well, I never
like,
felt bloated
full.
because like
You were satisfied.
you were only eating your 3 meals really. Like you didn't really change that a whole lot. And like you can eat a granola bar without being hungry. It doesn't really. It's not like you have to force feed yourself.
Yeah.
And you can drink a protein shake without being hungry.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't really like overly like tough, but you never felt hungry. I never felt hungry that whole entire time, which was a weird thing to experience because like usually it's like, oh, my belly's growling. It must be lunchtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then whereas like for I know you were saying before you graduated, kind of give us a rundown about that. You told me before, just like you're consistent with your your workout program that you were doing, like you did all that running and stuff, and you had like your dietary intake the right way and this and that. But you said you're fun, going out with friends and cheat meals. But then, when you came home and graduated, everything was like, oh no. So kind of give us a rundown about that.
I mean, I just feel like, because we've talked about that before, where for me, like the way for me to be able to control what I eat is basically I go and buy what I know I can eat. So if I go out of my way and I'm like, no, I'm going to go get cake, I'm going to go get dessert, if it's going to be in front of me, like, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
So, like, being at home, it's different because I'm not really controlling what's in front of me. So...
As compared to college?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in college, I mean, I was like, okay, like, I put it in my head, they're right, like, I'm going to just do it. And when I went to do grocery shopping, like, I would hate myself when I opened the fridge and be like, this is not real food, none of this is enjoyable. But the temptation wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like the discipline of going through that.
Like if you stock your refrigerator with soda, you're going to drink soda.
Exactly.
It's there.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's times where like, I really feel like there's something about like fast food or food that's not good for you that makes you crave it even more.
Oh yeah,
and
for
more
sure.
As you're having it. And that's when you start kind of like creating those habits. And, every now and then I'll just feel like, oh, I need it. I need fast food.
Yeah.
But it's different if you're breaking rarely than having it all the time. You know what I mean?
You can enjoy it.
That's what I've gotten to now. Like I have to look at it in a couple different ways. One, I'm almost too busy to stop and get fast food, like on the way home after the gym or something during the week, because I will get up at 6, go to work all day, get to the gym somewhere between 4:30 and 6, depending on what time I get off. Leave the gym somewhere between 6 and 8, be on the go for 12 to 14 hours a day. And I'm like, well, I don't want to spend extra time stopping at fast food. So I just, come home and eat or whatever. But then on the weekends, when I seem to have all the time in the world to make stuff, I just get fast food. So then it's like finding like, what is going on with my balance?
I think I feel like that's the opposite reaction for a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people are like, I don't have time to cook. So I'm going to stop and get fast food.
Yeah. Which I think is really weird. That's what I'm saying. I think is really weird. But I think another big thing for me is I have the mentality that I've kind of adapted from a couple of different people's perspectives. Is it's also like my financial situation, which isn't bad, but it's a matter of if I eat out 5 times a week, roughly, let's say 3 lunches, 2 dinners, average, payment for, I'll say lunch, if I want to eat comfortably, is $8. So you got 24 right there. And let's say, I'm just going to round it up and say, if we go to 5 guys for dinner 2 times, that's roughly $15 with no drink. $30 plus 24. I mean, that's a pretty penny on just fast food for 1 week. Now
times that by 4 weeks for a month.
Yes. Now it's over $200 some $220, something like that. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, you can some people could argue
just like one fast food meal a day.
Yes.
During if you had lunch and dinner, fast food. Now you double that. That's $400 in real quick.
Yeah. Not to mention, like you said, let's say you have Chick-fil-A twice every week, you're gonna become sick of it. Now, for me, I
disagree with that, but
we know from a couple of podcasts ago that yes, we know your love and fanboy for Chick-fil-A, which I'm there with you, but I have to limit myself. But I think it's a matter of I almost view even simple fast food like Chick-fil-A, Cookout, even sometimes Chipotle, which is even decently good for you. I have to treat it as like a dessert, a treat. That's why last night I had Chick-fil-A. It's Saturday night. Post gym, whatever. Don't feel like coming home to make anything. It's it's the weekend, whatever. All that together, treat myself. But next weekend, if I'm going to use my eating out meal for the weekend, it's Chick-fil-A. Even for me, that treat's not going to be a treat anymore. Now, I look back at it every weekend for the last month. I've had a different place. Like 1 week I had 5 Guys, one was Which, one was Chick-fil-A, and so on. So it's still viewing as a treat. So by then, by looking at it by those statistics, I won't have it but once every month. Sometimes it sucks because like, you know, I see people having it like every day. I'm like, ugh, Chick-fil-A, I need it. But then again, and then by then you just limit yourself to not only, all right, well that's, you know, it's more of a treat. It's probably a little bit too many calories today for, you know, our perspective of the gym and staying under the macros and, you know, not making those go haywire. On top of that, the money, you know, it's, if you keep, I mean, it's easier said than done, of course. And it took me a while to learn and find my right balance. But I know especially, I mean, it sounds like somehow you're a freaking nature and can eat, you know, pizza 5 times a day and still be, you know, still look way better than all 3 of us.
It takes a toll on you, I feel like. I like, probably this whole week I've eaten 4 pizzas, large pizzas. It's not as almost like I killed probably 3/4 of the whole thing. But it's like I had one yesterday and I didn't want it, but there was no food at home and I was too lazy to cook, so I'm like kind of getting tired of it. And then plus my budgeting, like most of my money goes towards food, and I'm like I could spend it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's probably definitely the biggest thing. But and when you eat healthier, it just feels better. Like I actually dieted. And you get so used to it that when you actually go eat junk food, like I felt like trash.
Exactly.
My body kind of rejects that.
Exactly.
So it's just that balance, like just.
But then it's such an easy thing to fall into. You have junk food the once, and you don't like it, but you're like, all right, and then you have it the next day, and now you like it, and you're back into it.
Like you got to be careful with that, because I think when I did my diet, I got down to 155, and I was like, I'm gonna go and eat like junk food. I had it twice. And then I had an addiction. I was like, I ate out for like that whole week. Jumped back up to like 170.
It's really easy to make that, like fall down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. And now I'm in that rabbit hole right now. I'm trying to go back to
pizzas.
Clean food. Anything.
Every time I go to the kitchen, there's another pizza on the table. I don't know how it's happening.
That's how my mom probably feels.
Your poor mother.
Well, pizzas aside, I think last time we worked out, you said that you were thinking about competing.
Yeah.
Still thinking about it? You said you had a coach.
I had a coach, which I dropped.
You dropped your coach? Okay, that was short-lived.
So the thing was, it was like too competitive.
I never sees this for all the jokes I'm about to make.
It was... I'm doing the Jay Cutler, and that's like the biggest show.
Yeah.
So it'll be my first show. Will be the biggest show here.
And it's here in Richmond.
The biggest
our
show regionally.
So he was really competitive. He's like
about a year from now.
Yeah, August.
Because they just had it recently, right?
Yeah,
2 months ago.
Yeah, I almost did it, but then we went to California, and I was like, I'd rather go travel.
Priority is smart.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he wanted a 24-week prep. The longest prep I've done was like 5 weeks, and that's because I was supposed to do 12-week, and I kept cheating.
But a month and some change to a 6 month is a very big difference.
Yeah, definitely. And it was all clean food. Like, he didn't let me have a cheat meal. He's like, very rarely, and for me, bulking, if you give me like a couple cheat meals, I just blow up. And then the intensity was just too much. He wanted me to weigh in at 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm not that tall that if I weigh 200 right now, that's like a 35-pound jump. And then on stage, he wanted me 175, which I was like... And then he asked me, he's like, what do you want out of this? I was like, I just want a place. He's like, nah, you're going to win this, and after this, you're going to do open bodybuilding. I was like, no. I was like, no. I was like, I'm good. But I think I definitely want the Jay Cutler. Like, I was thinking of doing the OCB versus NPC.
Well, what's the difference between the two?
NPC is just a bigger scale, like a lot more competitive. A lot of people that do OCB is kind of like just to start out, get your feet wet. But NPC is just a lot more competitiveness.
Gotcha.
So,
what's the route to get to one or the other? Is it just simply
easy.
Signing up? Or?
Yeah, you just get your membership, which you pay for a year. Can't remember the price. And then
roughly the same for both, or?
Should be around the same.
Gotcha.
And then you have to pay for the show. Every show you enter, you got to pay. Can't remember that either. It gets expensive, especially with a trainer. Like, it gets very pricey. But I think I'll probably do the Jay Cutler and a couple smaller shows just to build up.
Beforehand, or?
Yeah, probably beforehand.
Just build the confidence and see where you're at and learn from other experiences of bodybuilders and what have you.
When you go to the other shows beforehand, are you going to take those as seriously where like you're cutting beforehand, or are you just kind of going to go and
I'll probably do them relatively close so I don't have to like my body won't be thrown off, because that's the thing about competing. Like those last couple weeks it's very unhealthy. Like
you're cutting everything. You're trying to dry up as much as you can,
like
as vascular as possible.
So, and it plays tricks on your mind like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be mentally really strong. Like when I did my 5-week prep, which is really short, at the very end, like my mind was kind of out of it, just like, so it's tough. But I also wanted to do a powerlifting meet. That's why I dropped my coach, just to see how I do. But
Gotcha.
On the contrary, Fabio, would you ever compete?
No.
That's an easy one.
Compete in a drifting event though. Maybe
different. That's different. Like that's what we talk a lot about. Like for him, I think the gym and like competing, it's like the equivalent of like how passionate I feel about like cars.
Which I haven't heard much about because we're always hanging in the gym. It's the first time outside the gym being able to like hang out, catch up, chat. So
we're gonna take you to Hyperfest one day,
dude.
What's
for
that?
sure. So before you do that, I'm gonna give a little bit of commercial. But for Les Figueroa, he's the owner of Fig Speed. He's a good friend of Tristan, who was on episode 5 with us. Good friends with his father. We met him. We have shirts and hats, and some are sitting over there. Founder and owner Fig Speed in Las Vegas. But when we were at the event that he was very kind to get us in and meet some other people and watch. I mean, they had drag racing, they had drift racing, they had Baja, they had street racing.
It's the only car event I've ever been to. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, there was really cars of all sorts, from the 60s on up to modern day. These decked out 1,000.
What was it? They had a like a old pickup truck in the drag race.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was pimped out, but I mean, it was awesome. So I feel like whatever that is that you just said, the Hyperfest.
Hyperfest.
I mean, that sounds awesome. It sounds just like that.
That is VIR, which is like on the border of Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like North Carolina. It's a border between North Carolina and us.
Okay.
I think it's like south. Yeah,
I'd love to. When is it usually? Yeah.
It is
like May?
Usually spring break. Yeah, like
something like that.
May, like halfway through May or something. You've seen like the picture that he's got on his phone, right? Like
the Mustang. It's a Mustang.
I think so.
Yeah.
Probably
that was at that.
Yeah, you can kind of see that.
That one, I think that was Chelsea's, right?
Yeah, that's Chelsea's, and then they
have
that's like another one.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of like Formula Drift.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that, I think he's from like West Coast. I don't know if it's like Oregon or something, but he runs with another guy, Von Gideon Jr., and they both run Mustangs. And it's just like, I mean, going back to like what we're talking about, like how passionate we feel about it. Like he loves the gym. He also likes cars, but like for me, I was even talking to my dad about last night. Is like the sense of euphoria you get from something like that. It's hard to describe. Like we'll go, and when we go to Hyperfest, so you start smelling like fuel. You start like hearing the tires.
The burning
sweat.
rubber. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like a dog wagging its tail. Just like
that was I can say that was probably us when we went to the match and the football match in London. We went to the Fulham match.
Like you, as you're walking in, you hear the crowd, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, you hear the crowd. You smell the fresh ale around. You see the fat British lad just like sitting there chugging their pints. Just oi, yeah, ready for the football match. Stuff like that. Like it's all the little things. You smell the fried fish. Everything. It's just probably you can't describe it.
And we don't even have a nostalgic factor to ours because that was like our first time doing that.
Yeah.
Like if you've gone to this multiple times. And that smell when you walk in.
Yeah, for sure. Like I got him to go with me, and I think I went like 1 year with like some friends. Like it was just like me, maybe like another friend. I was like, I'm hooked, and I think it's been like 5 years or something.
What do you do when you go to it?
So there's like the one thing I haven't done because you're allowed to camp. It's like a 3-day event.
Okay.
It's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're allowed to camp there for like.
Is it like an RV?
Yeah,
like,
so
or even tents.
The people that have money have like huge gooseneck trailers.
Yeah, wow.
Like $50,000-$80,000 trucks. They got money. Like it's an expensive hobby for sure. But yeah, for like people that are just like they're just like spectating, you can take like a tent, just watch everything, and then they have everything.
That's pretty cool alone, just having like the whole tenting aspect of it.
We should go if you totally like. It's
That'd
not bad at all.
It'd be a fun YouTube video.
That'd be really fun. That'd be awesome.
Sure. I'll wear my Les Figueroa Big Speed stuff. Shout out to that West Coast stuff.
Heck yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And a fit in.
It's like $25 for the weekend or something.
Really?
Yeah,
it's pretty cheap. We can.
You have to pay to tent or anything like that. Pay for the spot.
I don't think so. Or actually, it might be, but it might be like $10 or something for the 3 days. Yeah. It's totally worth it. And they have everything from like circuit racing. He actually went to high school with a guy that actually competed there.
So.
I think
we should still do that. You just walk around, interview people, get learn more about the culture.
Different events going on.
Maybe do like a little 10-minute like weekend video for the YouTube, but also maybe interview other spectators and maybe hopefully someone that like not works but is a professional within this trade and the sport, and get almost like a little mini documentary kind of thing. Even just like 10 minutes. I think it'd be really cool.
For sure, dude. They have everything. I mean, they have like I said, like circuit racing. The guy that he went to high school with, he did this league, I guess you call it. Yeah, it's like Spec Miata. So it's like everybody out there racing is like using a Miata, just very specific gear. The specs on it, they're not allowed to modify them much. So it's like all just like the driver.
And they're racing, like a circuit track kind of thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's that.
Wow, that's awesome.
They have BMW.
Yeah, BMW's a big one.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah. I try
How do you get into that? You have to know
that's
somebody,
like,
or
for me, it's like
you just have the money to get the car first?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think people don't realize that there's also like a grassroots movement, like for drifting, for example. Like people get really cheap cars. I'm talking about like less than $1,000. Grab a Miata, grab like what I've been trying to get him into, which is like an E36, like a 90s BMW, super cheap, $1,000. Throw tiny little modifications here and there, like for the suspension, just so the handling's a little better, and you have a race car. So it's really not as expensive because I feel like almost everything that you feel passionate about is going to take money in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
And it's money that you're willing to spend.
Exactly. So, I mean, for me, it's kind of different because my dad does not give a single care about cars. Like, does not like them at all. Like,
how'd you get into them?
I don't know. It's just kind of like curiosity, watching people doing it, like slowly. Like when I was in high school, I didn't really know much. You start just like, oh, that car looks cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you start looking
like how he's a background of a Mustang, and
exactly.
Wow, that car's drifting in slow motion, or Fast and Furious. Like, yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
And then slowly it becomes like, this is all you know. Like I feel like, what kind of videos
you spend one night Googling and YouTubing, and then you're like, I'm hooked.
Yeah, for sure. Like I feel like a lot of people nowadays, like, you can be characterized by like the late hours of the night that you're spending on YouTube watching whatever it is that you feel passionate about. And that's like me. Like I'll just be watching like cars right before I go to bed. So I guess it gets to a point where you're just like obsessed with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty awesome though, because I know we've never really been able to chat about that. And y'all mentioned that event at one point in time.
It's called Hyperfest, and it happens at VIR, which is Virginia International Raceway.
Now, is there any other sort of events within? Because that's probably a good at least 2-hour drive.
Yeah, it's like 2.5.
Is there any other events in depth with all that kind of stuff, not just drag racing or drift? Is there something else within a 2 to 3 4 hour radius from here?
Is that the biggest one?
There's like drag. I know there's like drag strips nearby.
There's a drag strip at Budds Creek near my aunt in Maryland, Southern Maryland. But it's strictly drag racing. Like, I've seen it on TV, but like something that has all those like fun special events. Something that big,
I don't think so. They claim I think they're like the biggest event on the East Coast.
I could see that then.
Because people travel from out of state for sure to go there.
Wow.
So yeah, that size, I don't know of anything. But yeah, dude, it's I don't know. I get obsessed with it. The only thing that sucks is like I said, it's an expensive hobby. Like, when I was in college, I just jumped on like an opportunity because I saw like this Mazda RX-7. It's an FC as a rotary engine, so it's a very like wacky car that you're either really passionate about it or everybody else just tells you it's not worth it. It's a stupid engine to get and break. Exactly. But I told you, like, different brands becomes like cults. Like, people usually marry a brand and they're like, this is what I know. You know what I mean?
Right.
What's the reasoning for that? Do you know? Like,
I feel like,
is it like similar to picking like your favorite sports team and sticking with it? Or...
I think so. It's very much like a cult.
Or like, or is it more so like I'm a Dunkin' Donuts, not Starbucks kind of guy? Like, it's the brand, or
I think something calls you like to go in that direction at first, and then you start investing time knowing the inner workings of that. So it's it's a little bit more difficult for you to. Like with the rotary engine, it's so much different than a normal engine. You've already invested so much time into it, into figuring how it works, that moving on to something will like take away, it'll distract you away from that route that you've gone. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like how you said, it's like almost like following a team and sticking with it.
Yeah.
Right. That's interesting. Now, when you've gone to how many have you gone to before? Just 1, 2?
I've gone to 5 of those because it's once a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's weird because I didn't think I was going to be that hooked, but I was like, dude, I will not miss it. Somebody needs to die for me not to go to this.
Is there something that, like, do you, like, go to it and come away with something? Like, do you bring, like, buy things while you're there, or, like, T-shirts, or a car? Or...
No, I wish. I mean, so, like, this last one, for example, the driver that I was talking about, like, I've never seen that guy because it's you have to go almost, like, strictly to a really big event, like Grid Life or a Formula Drift event. So when I get to see guys that I know are like at the highest level, that was like the takeaway this year. Seeing Chelsea, I was like, oh my god, this dude went and just out of nowhere, I think they were just goofing around and they said, oh dude, I'm gonna go at this curve, which was actually like a circuit racing curve, and he was just like, I'm gonna go to see if I can reach top speed of my car and then drift it. And I think so essentially, it's called, like, initiating. There's, like, several different ways to go about it. Most people that watch, like, Fast and Furious consider it pulling the e-brake. So he went straight, reached, like, 150 miles an hour, and then turned it sideways. And that stuff's just, like, I mean, I couldn't even imagine just going 150 miles, period. Much less turning the car full send. Like, to me, it was just like, oh my god. So that was probably, like, the highlight. For sure.
How many times have you done it? Just the one time?
Yeah, I mean, well, some circuits, that's like their bread and butter, you know? That's what they do. That's what they do. But they have, like, ride-alongs, you know? Those are a little expensive.
Would you do one, if you could?
I don't think it's better just to, like, bring your own car and kind of do it yourself.
Like, that way you're in control.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's, like, essentially, like, the dream. Like, I wish, because a lot of these guys that get into it, I mean, they start like 16 years old. They buy their first car, you know, as long as it's stick and rear wheel drive. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I knew from most people that I saw getting into it that it gets really expensive. So I thought, you know, let me focus on, like, going to school, getting a degree, getting a job, and then, you know, that's just like essentially like pocket change at one point in your life. I mean,
right.
You're not making
it's like a new set of golf clubs. Like one day you'll buy $1,000 car.
Exactly. Whereas a 16-year-old, I mean, you're like working day and night to be able to do this.
In that, So it's something I'm like curious about because y'all are 6 years apart. Now, both of y'all's hobbies that could very well potentially be a career. If I don't know why this else comes to my mind, especially now when I hear how passionate you guys. I mean, clearly I know you always were passionate about cars and have been. Same with you in weightlifting, and I guess roughly for the same amount of time, if not longer. But if one of you all went professional and the other, I don't know why this comes to mind. But let's say, Diego, you compete in a show, you win a couple shows, the Cutler, then you get invited to an expo, and then you get invited to do one in LA. Let's say by your 20, let's say by the age of 23, 24. Do you think you would like fully commit and helping just promote him and working with him and training with him and doing sort of that? Just because, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Not that you're giving up your passion, but most of your time would invest into doing that. Thinking it could maybe one day lead to meeting the right person in his, career or hobby that could lead to yours and vice versa. I don't know if you understand what I'm asking. Just because
pretty much, are you going to be a good brother or a bad brother?
just because it takes a lot of dedication and time and effort, not as just you as the competitor or like the bodybuilder, but also the family and those turning you around. Because I mean,
you guys seem like each other's posse. You know what I mean?
We work out together every single time, and if one of y'all is not there, it's like the world's ending. What's going on? Where's Fabio? Where's Diego? Where's Antonio? Which is a good problem to have or a good thing to have.
I think that's just like. That's just how family should be, you know what I mean? Like, you have to support each other. I mean, we used to think, like, when he was really young, like, with soccer, like, everybody would just say, dude, like, this kid can go pro, for sure. And, even talking
and he
with
picked
Dad,
up a weight.
Dude, he honestly got hurt, like, bad way too often. To the point that, like, my dad, like, our parents just started thinking, I don't want to push him. Like, okay, let him go to college, play college soccer.
Right.
He'll get a full ride or whatever. But he was like, I guess I was almost like hitting my dad's pride. He was like, well, I can just pay tuition. I don't want him to feel forced to do this so he can go to college. especially seeing him getting hurt so often. But there were times where, you know, I mentioned it, I was like, hey, what if he gets an offer to go abroad, you know? And that was like, I mean, we'll fully support him, you know? If we need to move to another country because that may be his future, you know?
Yeah, it's
awesome.
awesome.
It's a sacrifice.
When you get his back, he'll have your you all's back one day.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, for sure, man. I think those opportunities like are once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think your family is like the people that you expect support from, you know, most support from. So, yeah, absolutely.
I think sometimes we get caught up in our daily lives and we forget that, or we get spread out doing our own thing. And I think kind of one of the reasons I brought that up is not because I'm thoroughly intrigued in both y'all's hobbies, because I am, because I do one, and I've seen parts of your hobby, if you will. But I think, you know, me personally, I don't know if you can attest for this, getting caught up in everyday life, because, you know, at work, gym, we all have busy schedules, and that we often forget to support those around us, and feel like maybe at times it's easy to say, oh, we would leave them behind, or they'd have to adapt to us. So I just was curious about you all who are so close, who I see working out together all the time, hanging out together. That's awesome. But if something were to change, would you change with it? Would, you know, I knew you guys were supportive, but it's just interesting to see, because you're not only brothers, you're best friends.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
And would you do the same for him if he got this, you know?
Like,
he'd be like, yeah,
kind of
I'll just deadlift the car.
Let's be honest, you know, pocket change.
But no, he kind of got me into
powerlifting.
cars. So that's like, we talked about like doing YouTube. Like, I wanted my BMW, I want to save for that, and it'd be like cool to do like YouTube and kind of like how I barely know anything about cars, like oil change, that's it. Windshield wipers, that's it. But kind of just that whole process of learning, and I kind of wanted just to do that in YouTube, and definitely with him, like, he kind of like will help me. Like, he might learn a little something from me from lifting, and I definitely will learn something from cars. So it's like a good relationship.
Watching each other grow in your all's hobbies, but teaching.
Well, when one
and kinda
grows, the other
bringing
one
on-
grows.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And slowly getting each other into, you know, one another's hobbies.
Yeah.
And since he's not here to defend himself, one day we'll have all three of you. But Antonio,
Yeah.
What does Antonio do?
Farm. Loves animals.
That's tired
That's why he's not here.
That is very true.
That's why he's not here. He's probably either hungover,
Partying in the
recovering,
farm.
or in a barn somewhere doing both. Or but no, I mean, I've talked to him a little bit. I mean, he clearly loves the weightlift. He's strong as a bull. Saw him
He's just
deadlift 500.
natural, because I think he did wrestling. He's a big kid, so he did football, but he never really lifted. And then when he came back from tech, I just took him, and I saw his bench go from like, it was 150, and for you to do 150 when you're like a beginner, that's pretty big.
It's pretty decent.
And
yeah,
now his
you don't
bench
really
is like,
what did you just say the other day? It was like
what, a
three. And he had 2 reps
Enough
of
I
it.
said.
think his max was a 375.
He,
But I think he's only had a year, maybe a year and a half, which is just an insane, like,
That's
that growth.
nuts. Sounds like Zion
But-
Williamson gaining
Yeah.
100 pounds when he's gained 200 pounds on
Yeah.
that bench.
But, I
That's
mean,
incredible.
he's just naturally good. Like, even I think with other things, Antonio can pick up things pretty quick.
Right.
He used to be really good at drawing and, like, art. But it's just, like, that dedication. Sometimes he falls off. But when he actually does it, it's pretty good. Like,
Jack of all trades, but a master at none, maybe.
Pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That can be a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see he's passionate about some of the stuff that he does.
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
Like he's
I
telling me.
don't think I've met Antonio.
I don't think so
I don't
yet.
think when
We're gonna have to do that.
I don't think
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get a podcast of all 5 of us,
Definitely.
and we're gonna have some. That'll be a fun like debate one of like what's
Yeah.
better, or like the burger or chicken sandwich one you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
He loves to eat
So.
out, so. Because I think he talked about
Hey,
that
he's
the
not
other-
here to defend himself.
He talked about it the other day. He talked about how he had the sandwich from Popeyes.
I haven't had it. Have you?
I haven't had
No,
it.
we're saving it for a video.
Yeah.
Right?
He beat you to it, but I haven't.
How about this?
so
He'll
I
be the
won't do
ref.
it.
He can be the
Yeah.
referee / camera guy, but he can still put his input, of course. But he can we'll do a specific, actual YouTube vid. That's what we were talking about earlier. How we were talking about.
We say vid because we're cool.
You know what I mean?
You just a YouTube vid.
Video. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm tired. But like a Chick-fil-A sandwich, Bojangles, Zaxby's, Chick-fil-A, and just
Okay.
cut them in 4s, and then all 4 of us, get our own piece of each one, Tony has the judge, essentially make sure no cheating, no swapping, this and that, and we just literally give a scorecard and whatever is consensus.
Okay.
Now,
Pretty fun.
If we do that, do we have like the signature sauce from each place too that we get to like dip it in?
No, that's cheating. That's not. You're not getting the full. No, because I mean, yeah, you and I we love a Chick-fil-A sauce.
Well, yeah, but Zaxby's has their own sauce. Does Popeyes have a sauce?
I think you should eat the sandwich as is.
Okay.
And no, we'll take your pickles off the Chick-fil-A sandwich. Don't worry.
Thank you.
But no, just like a simple, just chicken and bread, because they're all prepped a different way, of course. Mm-hmm. So I think no sauce, even if they have bacon on this, like nothing, just a chicken patty or whatever, if you have rest on the 2 buns and see which one's legitimately prepped and just tastes better. I don't know, I think it'd be really interesting. Now the weird part is going to each of those places and bringing them back, cutting them, and them not being cold. So I might have to do a quick heat wave and put them in the oven or something for like 30 seconds so we don't nuke it. But DoorDash.
We can do that too.
I'll DoorDash it to you.
There you go.
Have all of them show up at once.
Exactly.
Hold up, Popeyes. We'll be right there. Paying for this one real quick.
So, moving forward, I know we'll have multiple podcasts in our future, and we're probably about to go to the gym after this anyhow together, but...
Yeah, we'll probably do a whole podcast just in preparation for Hyperfest.
Exactly. That'd be awesome. Like, seriously, find out the date for that specifically. I would love to go that. Even if it is for a day, I would be willing to... We just chip in gas together, chip in some food.
Yeah, dude.
Make it cheap.
Nice car. If you guys are willing to do it, like, we haven't even camped at all, but I've been meaning to.
I would love to camp. I think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
For sure. Because they start so early in the morning. Those guys, like, I think a lot of them would like.
Was it you wake up to the sound of the tires burning?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And I don't know if you've ever heard like an actual like, I guess you call it kind of like a paddock, where it's like they have like a balcony and you're just hearing those cars. And obviously because they're race cars, they don't have like well, some tracks do have like a limit on how loud the cars can be. Mm-hmm. But it's like ear deafening loud, and it's cool. Like it's just like the
yeah.
But it's such an experience, and I mean they have crazy cars. I mean, I've seen Lambos, I've seen Ferraris there, and then we've seen some Shelby Cobras, which are like super expensive.
Now, how easy? Because I mean, we're very low maintenance. Mm-hmm. We backpack across Europe basically. Like we'll take a tent, the 4 of us. Tony wants to come. Couple cameras, make sure they're charged, and we'll just get a nice YouTube content. How easy is it not to do that, but to actually spend time enjoying the event, seeing the cars, doing this, it didn't actually have a chance to meet some of these folks. Not just, I mean, it's easy to go up to people that are spectating, of course, but
people are always so eager to like talk about like their passion.
Yeah.
Like there's one I told Diego there was one time
especially to people who don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Dude, for sure.
Because I know cars and names and this has X amount of horsepower, but in terms of this like the science behind it, I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Like I always told Diego there was one time that I super regretted it. I felt like just so shy. This guy was circuit racing like an FC, like the car that I have. And like I was just like jaw was dropped, or I was just looking at his car.
Kind of like Diego when you first met Riley Martin.
basically. That's very true. Yeah,
I had to call you out. Sorry,
dude. I wanted to go up and like ask him about it, but I also knew like at that point in time I was such a noob, especially with respect to that car specifically. I didn't want to sound like
that's fair.
Like I'm stupid. Like, you have no idea. You know what I mean? So I was super intimidated. But the guy almost looked like he was like luring me, and it's like I'll tell you all about it.
Right.
So that's how people generally are. They're super open to
Which makes complete sense. Yeah. I mean, they were as long as they're respectable human being, let alone part of that sport, they're gonna remember where they came from.
Yeah.
They were in your shoes once.
Yeah.
And that's with anything. Just like when you go to Jay Cutler, let's say you have a spectator or a judge in the crowd that's let's say Bradley Martin's there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or Arnold Schwarzenegger. That the classic, Arnold Classic, or something like that. They're in that crowd and they all know where they've been.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get caught up in the nostalgic moment of that said event and like woe is me, I'm big Arnold Schwarzenegger, but or some of that popularity, but then as soon as it dies down, like, oh wait, it feels just like just yesterday I just started doing this myself. I think it's really that's why I think it'd be cool to interview like an amateur and then see if we could somehow finagle one of like the top dogs, like not the top, because it's not like some of those are even hard to see rather than talk to, but someone close to level.
Yeah.
But in the contrary, we need to go to the Arnold Classic, which I did see.
I talked about it yesterday to my dad.
It's March 5th through 8th. I just looked, which is...
We're in the process right now of getting like a 10-person posse going.
Yes, so we should just...
He should join, but...
It's super... It's relatively cheap. Like, the only thing is I don't know how early you need to get tickets, but they're not... I mean, it's cheaper than going to... The whole price...
I don't think they sell out of tickets. I think the important thing would be getting like a hotel room.
Yes.
Nearby.
True.
Which I think if we're going to get that many people, we just might as well get an Airbnb.
Yeah.
So I do know it's the March 5th through 8th, which is like technically Thursday night to Sunday. I know for me, I just have to request off work, probably you too, maybe like a day or two. We don't have to go the full
It's
4
the weekend,
4
so
days.
it's just taking off like a Friday or something.
Yeah, so, just go the weekend days. I mean, dude, it's the Arnold Classic. We've been talking about it for like 2 or 3 years. And I think
it's also because everybody, all the big names in fitness have like their own like little stands and all that. You just go up and meet them.
And I know, especially like us three, I mean, I know you love weightlifting, but like, the Bradley Martin and, Callum and all the other, Steve, all of the guys that I know you watch. A lot of those guys go, whether they have a booth or not, they just go to interact and network, and that's like what we do. Just in general, I mean, you know me. I'm always talking to someone. I never stop.
You can go hit up like the hotel gym and like just look around and be like, we're tiny.
Screw that. We need to go to the Gold's Gym in that town.
That place.
Where is it? Where is it? It's gonna happen.
Columbus.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have it there every year.
We're going to the Gold's there.
I almost went to the Olympia. I think that was a while ago. I told my dad, I was like, I'm gonna go alone. Like, I really wanted to go just to meet them, and I can't remember. I think.
When's the expo in LA? We need to go to that.
I wanted to go to that one too. I can't remember.
Maybe, how we were talking about going to LA.
If you're doing the Arnold Classic, we can all go see that too. Or not Arnold Classic, Jay Cutler.
Ooh.
Heck yeah.
That'd be fun.
Pressure on me.
Yeah, man, that'd be fun, dude.
My poses.
Well, if you watch some of those like smaller shows,
we'll
I know.
be your posse, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Cody will oil you up.
Judges right here.
Nobody volunteering me to do something.
I'm saying he should compete too. Like, you definitely should compete too.
Weren't
we talking about that a while ago?
It's a year away. We'll
Maybe.
see.
A year away.
But then again, we also kind of made that indirect promise to Tristan our first show. We
That's
had to
true.
do the
Where
three of
was
us at
that?
the South Lake Tahoe Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have to do that
Yeah.
one day. I think we should set a date and chase it. Just not next
A
year.
date far enough in the future where it's not real yet.
So 2022? It's an even number. It's fine.
I'm busy that day, man. Can't do it.
Shut up. But I think we should. For both. I want to do both. I mean, we can learn so much about our passions. It's another way, networking. And actually, when we were talking to my buddy Corbin earlier, it's just a matter of getting out to experience. Time wasted is one of this. I guess I fear it now. I don't, like we were talking about just you and I before at one point this week, is like sitting around and relaxing is a must sometimes. Recharge the batteries, whether it's sleeping, playing video games online with buddies, or watching Netflix, binge watching a show. All that's necessary. It's part of, sometimes film someone's hobby. But I know me personally, and he agreed, I know we've both agreed, just sitting around sometimes or just like sloughing off and dreaming about it is just another day time wasted. At least do something to get closer to what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that, some people often say, well, that's just too much money. I'm like, is it? Or are you just telling yourself that because you want to, like, in your mind, save money for just the future, but you're actually never going to spend it? Like, Joe Rogan says it best. I always put things back on him, but I learned so much from him. Money is meant to be spent. Now, I'm not saying go crazy and just spend thousands of dollars every other week.
Yeah.
But I know in Europe, our mindset was, we're going on this phenomenal trip. Like I told you, we hit 6 countries if you count the Vatican, of course.
Which we do.
We do.
Yeah.
6 countries in 15 days. And I know, including what we paid for everything in terms of flights, trains, boats, whatever, including our money, there's no way we spent, over $2,000 a piece. No way. Like, I don't remember roughly how much it was, which is nuts because when we studied abroad for 10 days, it was $4,000 a piece, not even counting what we spent on food and souvenirs and this and that. So, we still spent a pretty penny, but it was worth every penny spent. And when we were there, like, when I bought my little Peaky Blinders, top hat, I freaking love that thing. Just wore it my Thanksgiving get together with my family. I mean, he just wore it to a Christmas party. Like, it's something that You know,
I wouldn't mind to work every day.
Yeah, but it wasn't cheap. But like, it's something that I know would mean a lot to me because it's like authentic. It's made of cashmere from there, and then buying one that's more authentic rather than just buying a cheap one off Amazon back in the States. Like sometimes you look at that price tag, like, oh, I'm gonna save that $20. I could use it for my next cookout meal, and so on. But people do that. I'm ignorant and guilty of that. But I feel like in the end of the day, you're holding yourself back from experience, meeting new people, going to the Cutler and expos, and going to Hyperfest, right? Stuff like that. So I don't know. I'll step off my soapbox there of experience, but I think it's just also the older I get, and I feel like all of us can relate. We see those around us, growing old, whether it's my little 11-year-old sister to my dad. He'll be 52 or 52 in 2020. So I don't know. It's really crazy how time's just flowing. But in the end of the day, just the simple things of skipping. Oh, I'll go next year.
Yeah.
I've done that. I'm not gonna lie, with like the Virginia State Fair for the last 4 years. I haven't gone to that in 4 years. I haven't gone to Hallow Scream, whatever it is, or
yeah, man, time flies.
At Busch Gardens. I was like, oh yeah, I'll go. I haven't gone to one since senior year of high school.
Granted, we couldn't go for 4 years in college because of season.
Yeah, and college soccer and everything. But that makes complete sense. But there's a matter of the fact that I could have dumped something to maybe do something else, so. And I look back at it, I'm like, I'm only 24. You'll be 24 in a couple months. You just turned 20. You just turned 26, correct?
In August, yeah.
Yeah, so like, we're still young, but then again, I look back and all the stuff, like we also mentioned earlier, like
You're only 24 once.
Exactly. And I don't remember anything from all those hours I put on Call of Duty and FIFA Ultimate Team, and like we were just talking, like you just said it earlier, you don't remember a single thing other than at the moment you're happy and having fun, achievements, but in the day, what did you get out of it other than that?
Like throughout all of college, I remember maybe like a handful of times when I was playing video games.
Yeah.
The rest of it just kind of blends all in together. Like, I know I played that game, but I can't remember like the specific time I was or anything like that. Whereas I remember the weird specific times of like us going to play intramural sports or us going on a hike.
It's weird. That was just in my head too.
Really?
Yeah. But no, seriously, like the little things. Or I can still remember that one video that we have of Dallas of him laughing, painting like the whale or not painting, but using chalk. We're all studying for like, finals. I don't think like it was like 10 of us. Some of us didn't have to go. We went just to hang out.
We were all doing like a midnight study.
Rather than just like, screw you guys, you have to study and write papers. We're going to go play video games. Ha. But in reality, just, we're there for our friends. We're hanging out. This was like sophomore, junior year. And
we're
plus
just in a
Dallas was
leaving.
Yeah, and next thing you know, like, I can still remember part of the conversation, and we're ragging on our buddy Dallas, shout out, because he's drawing these stupid, like, pictograms on the chalkboard and, like, laughing like a little clown at them. But it's authentic. Like, he's just a knucklehead. That's just who he is.
I think he was drawing a whale, and, like, the iconic shot of, like, Jaws coming out of, like, the water? Uh-huh. Well, he was drawing, like, a penis coming out of the water.
So we called it Moby Bleep. Yeah. And there was so many other ones he did, but that was
as
one
he's drawing it, like, as he's going, he's like...
And, I mean, I'm just like, only you, Dallas. But, in the end of the day, it's such a stupid memory, but I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't tell you what I did when I played video games 2 nights ago or whatever. Like, it was fun. I enjoy it. Yeah. By all means, do it. And if you can, those people that make money off it, like Ninja, shout out, dude. Yeah. Congrats. But I don't know. You miss a lot when you invest like a whole day's worth of time to video games. Like if it's at night when you have to go to sleep after work or the gym, eat it up, dude. Play, get those FIFA coins and get that prestige in COD.
Yeah. I'm saving up right now.
Are you? What do you got?
40,000.
Dude, I haven't played in probably 2 weeks. Like I've played every day.
I know you did.
It was a bad routine.
I know you did.
I think I would play till 5 a.m.
I gave you a hard time about it too.
Antonio would give me the PS4 because we all share it like at 12.
You're playing Ultimate Team?
Yeah. And I got demolished, especially playing the championships. But every week...
Are you in the weekend league?
Yeah. Like, I would always get in there.
I'm still trying to get in the weekend league. I'm like 1,000 points shy of it still.
Dude, you can save up. Like, they give you so much money in those. But I haven't played.
I get nothing. Buy coins?
Yeah, so, like, to get into the weekend league, you have to get 2,000 Champions League point or weekend league points. And you gain those based on what division you are when you play online.
Gotcha.
So, like, I'm division, like, 7 or something. So I only get, like, 40 points per match. And that's if you win.
Yeah.
So you do the math, and it's like a crap ton of
changed.
games.
Dude, I can't even remember how
last
many
couple years.
games I've played. Like, I think within the first...
My record right now is like close to 50 and 50 with like 5 ties.
Like, probably in 2 weeks, I averaged 200-300 games. Because when I play FIFA, it's like minimum 5 games. If I keep losing, I'm like, I'm going to play until I win.
That's a horrible way to look at it, man.
Yeah.
If you lose, you gotta stop.
we all have
you start
our
playing
off nights.
aggressively.
Dude.
We all have our off nights. But it just kind of proves my point. Like, you don't remember that other than the anger you had at your Xbox. Like, screw this, I can't win. Hour and a half, 2 hours later, like, I just wasted my life away losing. So
I know, dude.
Now, if you're winning, you
Like-
just keep going.
I mean, yes, but
Because I felt, dude, I'd be playing hours, and I'm like, time just flew by, and I'm like, I just played
Time
4
flies
hours
by so
straight.
quickly when you're playing FIFA, too.
Yeah, it's like...
Because a game
You're not
flies
kidding.
by, but it's like 25 minutes.
I found myself having to do something else to kind of help me keep track of the time. So I'll listen to a podcast while I'm playing FIFA. We still have the sound of the game, so I can still kind of be into it, of course. But I have to put up, because if I don't, I won't regulate how much time's passed. I'm like, oh wow, I've been listening to this podcast for like 30 minutes. Wow. Because if I don't, I will like sickeningly waste time. I'm just like, I need to not do this all the time.
Yeah.
That's definitely...
Because like I told you, when in between when I graduated high school to college, like that summer, what was it, FIFA 2014? I played over 1,200 games. Yeah, I had 800 wins, and I had
That's a good
what,
record.
6 squads, all Spain, Brazil. I got on all these accolades. It was a fun time, and it's changed since then. But when I look back, I'm like, all I did was work and played FIFA. I was lame. Like that summer, I couldn't tell you anything else other than the only thing I can remember was the one night I decided to have an experience and shoot fireworks in my backyard with 2 buddies of mine from high school, and I got pulled over. I got my first speeding ticket in a year. I can tell you that. What did I do? Prove my point. Experience. It wasn't really good, but I'm just gonna be chawing about experience nonstop. But
Camera died.
it's all right. I think
Good
I'll
timing.
cut off a time or 2 as well. But good timing. I know we've probably hit like an hour or so. But once again, experience. Look at this, just sitting chatting like we've been saying we're due for a month now and finally got it in. But we're all busy,
First of many.
So. First of many, yeah. We're going to have you guys back over.
We'll have some fun videos. We're doing like taste testing and gym videos and whatnot.
Yeah, we had to
favorite stuff. Food.
and
Food,
definitely, we're
gym,
definitely
and
going
we'll
to
do a
do
video
Hyperfest.
of
I'm actually really
Hyperfest.
excited for that now. I'm about to start Googling that.
I'm gonna show you the promo video at some point.
Oh,
And
dude,
Show us right after. Show us right
when
after.
this is done?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they had that drift. They got it from a helicopter, and then they had the crispy video.
Dude,
the film they
Crispy
had,
Media.
just the drone was flying and behind
That's
the cars.
awesome.
Yeah.
The footage was insane.
Anything else want to say before we?
Thank you for having us,
Yeah.
man.
Sure
That-
thing.
This was good.
Yeah, that's
Awesome having you guys on.
experience.
for sure. Wish we could have had some snacks and stuff too, but it's
Come down.
you know, I know.
Too
You had
much
3
weight
pizzas
now.
today. I know.
A man's got a year to a
Yeah.
competition, right?
Yeah.
So, well, no, it was a pleasure. This was definitely not the last, but
Yeah, for sure.
first of many. So.
Alrighty. Cool. Bye.